Really good.
Yeah, I asked Twitter, and a lot of people said Gotham. So yeah,
Ah, okay.
okay.
Yes, yeah, I forgot all about it because it hasn't been on for like a minute. But yeah, it's really good, and it's gotten better. I think all the characters are great. But right, it's kind of like you're just finally getting in. You're like, yeah, it was like, and then they're like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yep. Okay. Here's my list, or
Ooh,
what I've
boy.
been watching. Okay. Um, the first one, I'm pretty sure it was this year, Westworld. Uh, it was actually its second season. It is it's amazing and scary. Do you know the premise of Westworld?
No.
Okay, it's the premise is in the future you could go to this place, kind of like an amusement park, where everybody's a robot, and it's set in the wild wild west or something like that. So you dress up like a cowboy, and you could do whatever you want because they're robots, and
Huh.
um, it's so what do you think people do if you could do whatever you want? They shoot people and they have sex with them over
Oh,
and over and over again. That's basically
oh,
like murder and sex.
oh.
Murder is that's the
Yay! Friday night.
yay. But for some reason, the guy that created all these robots, because basically, I and apparently what they do in this amusement park is, you spend like a week there, so you have your week of killing and having sex with people, and then the
Huh.
robots get reset, and the people go home, and then you start it all over again and stuff. Well, the creator of these robots decided to, hey, let's give them emotions and let's give them memories and let's
No.
and then the robots get really mad because they've been shot and horrible things have been done to them over and over again, and it just goes from there. And it's really well done, and it's really smart, and it's really interesting how I won't give too much away, but it's very interesting how it all works out. Um, have you ever heard of Black Mirror? Speaking of the future,
No, I haven't.
Black Mirror is
Ugh.
on Netflix. I would highly, highly recommend it. It is basically the future. And if in fact it's already starting to happen. So Black Mirror is kind of
Ooh.
like it's kind of like the Twilight Zone. It's not um every season, every show is a kind of a standalone. Although I hear the latest season is kind of, they're all interconnected, but basically um, the first couple seasons, it's just like it's like a bunch of short stories, and all of the stories are all like, let's say you take some piece of technology and take it to the future, and how will this progress? Like, for example, you know how you could rate drivers on Uber? What if everybody had a rating? What if
Huh.
what if everybody's, and like everything was based on this rating? Like,
Ooh.
let's say you I don't know, run too many stop signs, or go too fast or something like that, then you would get a negative rating. Or you commit some kind of crime, you would get a negative rating. Well, people with a higher rating get preferential things, and people with a lower rating get punished. And this is actually happening. This is actually like happening in China right now. They call it a social
Really?
credit system or something like that. Yeah, it's really scary. So, and unfortunately, China is not exactly the most democratic place. So, it's basically whatever the government says is good and bad, and so it's a real scary, you know, glimpse into the future. They kind of predicted Donald Trump. They basically said,
Ooh.
what if this TV star becomes like we turn him into a politician or something like that. So there's
Oh
so
no.
many there's just that, and that's basically all it is it's like, what if you take one thing in technology and just take it to the future and see how it progresses? And it's usually a bad thing. It's usually not there's no happy stories here. It's usually, we're all
Okay.
doomed. But it's really,
Wonderful.
really smart, really well done. um This Is Us is basically they should just call it You Will Cry. It's like every episode is designed to make you cry.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's basic. I mean, it's well done, but it's just like it's basically tearjerker TV every single episode.
Oh man, like
That's,
I hate crying.
Yeah,
But like
it's
when the show initially came out, I'm like I don't want to see it. It looks annoying. But now like everybody's like raving about it.
Right.
I'm like
everybody
maybe I
talks
should
about
watch
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this one, I love this so much because I loved the Karate Kid, the show Cobra Kai. Have you heard about this?
My one friend, like I think in the beginning of the year, told me about it, but I didn't watch it. I had no interest in seeing it. But that's like the.
It's basically a sequel to the Karate Kid.
Okay.
And what's really cool about it is it's really well done, and it's kind of like a role reversal because the bad guy from the Karate Kid, what's his name, Johnny something, Johnny Lawrence, I think his name is. He's basically down and out, and he's kind of because of that because of what happened in that movie, he became like a loser, and the good guy from the movie became not a bad guy, but he became very successful, and it's not what you think. It's not that you would. It's just really well done. The story is really well written. So that was really good. Everybody says I don't watch this, but I really wish I would have. The Good Place. I've heard so many good things about that, but I'm afraid it's too late because I think they're in season 2 or 3 or something like that, and I'm afraid if I start watching it, I'm a very obsessive person. Like people have told me like, hey, you got to watch this show. It's 5 seasons and 100 episodes. Like, okay, I'll start watching it now, and I won't stop for.
Done.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay, that'll be my life for the next few days, and I just kill myself until I'm done watching it. So I'm afraid of doing that. But I've heard so many good things about The Good Place. I heard it's really good.
Okay.
Another one is Glow. I haven't watched season 2, but season 1 was really good. It's basically loosely based on in the 80s they had like a women's wrestling thing, and that was really well done. And then
okay, never heard of it.
Another one that I don't watch anymore because it just gets so ridiculous is Riverdale. Have you heard about what they do in Riverdale?
No, I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so Riverdale is based on Archie comics, and what I remember from Archie comics was like that it was just like the stupidest teen goofy comic book where you have your typical. It was just really. I think it was a cartoon in the 60s or 70s or something like that. It's just really goofy, and it's just really silly and stuff. Well, this Riverdale show basically takes the characters but just has them do the craziest things. It's like a dark and crazy, and it's just really weird to take these these really safe characters and make them do horrible terrible things. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's it. Other people, people on Twitter also talk about Haunting on Hill House. I'm not sure what that is. And a show called Barry. I don't know if you've heard of that. And Atlanta, I've heard that's really good. And Handmaid's Tale, I should say.
Okay, I've heard of that one. We actually watched Haunting on, I think, the Hill House, which I think was just. I don't know if it was actually. I think it was just I don't know if it's going to be a one-time deal or if they're going to come out with something every year. It was different. It wasn't as. If we're talking about the same thing, they kind of referred to it as being scarier than American Horror Story.
Okay, kind of.
And I didn't think it was. No, but I mean, it was put together. It was kind of smart, but it was confusing at some points. I was like, I don't get it, but it wasn't horrible.
How about Stranger Things? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, almost forgot about that one. Really good. Yeah, caught up on just the 2 seasons, I believe. Correct?
I don't think technically they've had. I think they skipped this year because I think the last season was at the end of 2017, and I think the next season is the early next year. So they kind of skipped this year, but that's I have a daughter that's 17, and she religiously watches Stranger Things. She was really also into 13 Reasons Why, but I think that kind of got stupid. But yeah, Stranger Things. I'm a big fan of. It's the 80s nostalgia thing is really cute.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, they did well.
And the last one, and I think this was this year, Rick and Morty. Have you heard of that?
Yes. That's what those like. They're kind of like the cartoon guys, right?
It's a cartoon, and it's really, really weird. It's just the best way to describe it. It's really, really weird. It's kind of like Family Guy, kind of that kind of humor, but just with really weird premises. And it's a little out there, but at times it's really really smart and funny.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna write that one down because I like funny.
It's a little different. Yeah. It's pretty smart. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Dodge. This is your very first podcast appearance, right?
Yeah, I've been freaking out for like 3 days about it. It wasn't that bad.
And you did great. See?
I did. Woo! Thank you.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this sometime. At Joker's Cuckoo, which is a really cool name, and now we know why.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the biggest Pittsburgh sports stories of 2018 with Zach Smith of Around the 412. Thanks again to Lauren Arnone Dodge. Talk to you later. Another episode is in the bag.